Welcome to Module 11, Varnishing your Dot Art.
Okay, in this module we're going to be talking all about varnish. I do have another video that I've posted previously comparing the different varnishes, so I'll leave a link in the description box so that you can go and check out that video as well. These are the things you're going to need. You're going to need some type of varnish. I like to use the high density foam brushes. They're really nice for putting on varnish, and depending on the size of your piece, like on my larger pieces, 24 inches, I would use something like this, like a 4-inch brush, and on some of my rocks I'll use this tiny little brush. And you can also use just a paintbrush as well, a clean paintbrush, to apply your varnish as well, depending on what varnish you're using. I usually wear gloves because it gets all over the place. I will have some paper towel handy for any drips. And then the different varnishes. My favorite are these Liquitex varnishes. They're beautiful, they're easy to apply, and they just flatten out and the bubbles seem to just
dissipate.
They have high gloss varnish, they have a gloss varnish, satin varnish, and a matte varnish, so the choices are endless there. And then there are the spray varnishes. So I have this Krylon clear gloss. I have other ones as well in different finishes, satin and matte. The only thing about these is you'll want to take it outside to do it,
because of the fumes,
or wear a mask. Then there's DuraClear gloss varnish. Okay, and that's just a paint on varnish as well. You can see I've had mine for a long time. Some people will use Mod Podge. I'm not a fan. I never seem to get it to work well for me. And then there's the triple thick brilliant brush on gloss glaze, which a lot of people really enjoy as well. So, but typically for me, I go with these liquid. They're a little bit more expensive for sure. If you're looking for something less expensive, something like the triple thick or the DuraClear, even the spray varnish would work for you. What I wanted to do is show you, with the piece we just made, how to varnish it. Okay, so let's decide what we're going to go with. Shall we go with the high gloss, satin, or the matte? High gloss for me. So we'll just move these out of the way and get set up for varnishing. When you have your piece ready to varnish, depending on what it is,
you're going to want to elevate it. So in the case of the little 4x4 canvas, I'm just using that little jar that can fit underneath it. When I do larger pieces, I use empty sour cream containers to get it up off the ground. Now, before we move to our piece that we made in Module 10, I want to go through some of the other varnishes.
Okay, my friends, this is our little rainbow rock. It's all done, all the guidelines are removed, and I did paint the back of it. And now we're going to start by varnishing the back, and we're going to start this episode with triple thick. So we'll be using an acrylic brush to put this on. So let me just put some into paint well. Now I'm going to hold it for the first bit because I want to get around the edges there. So any that I get there, I don't want to leave a ridge, so I'm just going to brush it out, and then I'll lay it down and get the rest on the back. Whoops. So it's just a matter of brushing it on, making sure you don't leave any brush marks if possible. Again, with any varnish like this, you have to be quick with your application because then you'll end up leaving brush marks.
There we go.
I'll check on the dry time and let you know. So that is with the triple thick. Now guys, that is the triple thick in one coat. Look how beautiful that is. I honestly think we could get away with the one coat. Okay, let's get a coat of this triple thick on the front, shall we? I should be able to do it with it on here. Well, I've just got a little paint container. I do have this on
because the varnish on the bottom is fairly recent.
Okay.
So they say you can recoat in 1 to 2 hours, but they advise to wait 24 hours so you prevent any cloudiness of the varnish. I left this piece overnight and then some before recoating it. It felt a little tacky, so I waited. I would give it 2 to 3 days to fully cure.
Now you want to make sure you don't have any droopy varnish, right? Just brush out those edges for sure. The loveliness about this is it's just like one coat on the back was fine. And so glossy, like just beautiful.
Additional coats will give you more depth.
Okay.
There we go, and we'll see how it dries.
That looks pretty good. One more coat of the triple thick on here. That's with just one coat, so isn't that beautiful?
I wanted to add more depth to the glossiness, so that's why I'm adding another coat. I mean, you could continue on and get quite a nice depth and glossiness to the whole piece.
There we go. A nice second coat of the triple thick, and honestly I don't think we'll need another one. Okay, lovely. That's probably going to do it. I'll show you when it's dry. And there it is, dry. Just 2 coats. Look at that glossy finish, will you? That is beautiful. Okay, so that is the triple thick, the brush on.
And next we'll use the triple thick spray. When I'm using the spray, I always give a quick spray off the piece first to make sure that it's working properly. And then here we've just sprayed across this rock, and we try and get along the sides as well. It's pretty quick, it's pretty simple. Afterwards, make sure you clean off the spray head so that it will work the next time you want it. And next we'll move on to the top of this piece. All right, let's get the top of this sprayed. The bottom is dry, and we're just spraying across and along the sides. Looks lovely. A nice even coat on here is what we're looking for. I always advise when spraying your pieces to try and do it outside. Anytime you're spraying, always start the spray before you hit the piece and end the spray after you go over the piece.
This will need another coat.
At least I think it will.
Which is fine. We'll let that dry. So that is the triple thick spray. Goes on quite nicely. Okay, that's our secret garden rock. That's beautiful. That's 1 coat of the triple thick spray there on the front. Beautiful. I think the back could use a second coat, but we'll wait and we'll probably do that afterwards. But yeah, right? It's got all of it coated. Gorgeous. Love it. Easy to apply. Okay, my friends. So this isn't exactly how I had planned this to turn out, but I love it. Absolutely love it. My happy little accident, right? So now I'm going to take off my guidelines. Again, they can hide on you, right? And you don't want to wait until you have varnish on to realize, oh, there's still a guideline on there. And again, it was just intended to sort of go out like this all the way, but I ended up, oddly enough, with a very weird gap there. So it happens. But this is to show you that, I should put it in the mistake module, that you can always come back from these things, right? I think we'll try one of our spray varnishes on this one. For the next varnish, we're going to be using the Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover Satin Clear. You should be high enough over it.
Somewhere between 10 and 16 inches.
All right. Round one.
You can recoat in 1 hour or after 24 hours.
Definitely going to need more than one coat. Okay, that's that one. Okay, this is 2 coats of the satin, and it's lovely. But I'm going to tell you, I'm a gloss girl. So I'm going to go over the last coat here with gloss. I've got Krylon in the gloss. Clear gloss. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a shake. Ready? Here we go.
Dry time is 20 minutes and can be handled in an hour.
Okay, I might have got a little heavy-handed here, but hopefully that's going to just turn out beautifully. What do you say? Sorry guys, I just love the gloss. So let's wait and see how that dries, shall we? Okay, my friends, there we are. That is Happy Mistake, it's called. Anyhow, I got my gloss on there. It's gorgeous. I love it. Again, you could go on with more coats just to get even more depth of glossiness to it. But I'm happy with that there. So there you go. And you know, sometimes varnishing can seem intimidating, but I have been hoping through this video that I could show you that it really isn't that scary. You know, it's just a matter of
practice.
Okay, love that. So honestly, you have so many options, right? Now, I favor the Liquitex varnishes, always have. So I don't use these other ones a lot, but maybe I'll start. Especially on my rocks, I may do that, although the gloss in the Liquitex gives it an almost resin-like look. I did used to do resin quite a bit. I did tabletops and wall art with resin. I had a full setup with tents that were ventilated, exhausted, and sealed, and I had heaters so it would be the right temperature.
I had all the PPE, I had a Tyvek suit, sealed respirator, you name it, I had it.
It's a lot.
And when we moved, I didn't have room for it, so there we are.
I do use the UV resin sometimes, especially for jewelry or smaller items. Okay, love it. Okay, let's show you my process for varnishing.
My larger pieces.
So I still want to use my Lazy Susan. I put 4 sour cream containers over top. I've got a 14-inch piece that I want to get the back varnished before I start the front. So I'm using the Satin varnish from Liquitex. And basically with these, I usually just pour right on the board. That hole there is for the base of the Lazy Susan to go on. Let's not forget to get our dust off. Okay, let's get at it.
I always like to get my edges first, especially if you look at your piece. You've probably got some detail right up to the edges, and sometimes you can miss those, so I typically will do my edges first. On this, obviously, there's nothing to be concerned about, but when you're doing a piece that is finished, you're going to want to pay attention to any raised parts, so something with dimension, like a Nouveau drop or something. You don't want to get pooling around it, but you do want to get the varnish all the way around those. And I always take a moment and get my edges there. And when I'm finally ready, I'm going to do a draw across of all of the varnish. And this is where I draw the varnish across the whole piece. Sometimes I'll have a paper towel there just in case I have a bit too much varnish on there, and just dab it. Okay? It's that easy, guys. It's that easy. And don't overwork it, because if you do, you'll start getting streaks in the varnish because it's already going off. Okay?
After I've done that, I take a wipe and I go along this bottom edge just to make sure none of the varnish has gotten underneath.
And remember, at this point, I haven't done the top, so I'm not overly cautious doing this. Now let's look at this process on a finished piece. We'll be using the Liquitex High Gloss varnish for this, and I've got my high density foam brush. And of course, we always brush off any dust that might have accumulated since you finished your painting. Okay, and we'll start around the rim as I usually do. And I'm just drawing that varnish to the edge to make sure that I don't miss any parts on the edge, especially if there are any raised bits. It's really important to get that done, as far as I'm concerned, first. And then I will continue on. I get the edges as I go along too, and then you'll see I'll do a final run around the edges. So I'm adding more varnish here, and we're just going to carry that all the way around until we get the outer edges done, and then I'll pour some more varnish for the center. You will notice that I'm fairly liberal with it. I've used this varnish for years, and that is what I have found works for me. My personal experience is if you put too thin a coat on, you are going to get streaks, and this way you can avoid that. And if you do a layer of varnish and you do have streaks in it, just go ahead and varnish over that, and that'll get rid of your streaks for you. Dry time is about 4 hours in between coats, and curing time is obviously longer, about 24 hours to 48 hours. This is a Lazy Susan, so obviously I'd give it a good week or more to allow it to fully cure before someone's going to put something on it. And always, always make sure that your paint is fully dry before varnishing. Here I'm just ensuring I don't have any drips underneath the piece. And then this piece is done. That's the first coat of varnish, and I'll show you after 3 coats. And here it is, all finished. Look at that beautiful shine on that. And I'm telling you, it's durable. I've had several that I've had for years and years, and they hold up.
All right, my friends, we're gonna give Mod Podge a try. Again, it's not my fave, but I did see somebody on YouTube that claims it goes on better if you mix a little bit of water with it so that it's a nice creamy, milky consistency. So let's just give this a try, shall we? So it's supposed to be long strokes.
Admittedly, I added a bit much to start, but it'll all brush out, not a worry. If you do put it on too thickly, it can turn milky in color.
And you can't work it too much, just like all the others. What a lot of people complain about is the brush marks. I've never had success with it, but let's just see. Let's give it a try, eh? And I have heard a lot of people say that this doesn't stand up outside.
I'm just trying to get my edges so that they will not be ridgy underneath, because I will varnish underneath as well. I think it's really considered more of a sealer than really a varnish. All right, let's let that dry. The Mod Podge says apply with a brush or a foam applicator. Dry 30 minutes between coats. So we're at 9:45, so at 10:15. To eliminate tackiness, apply clear acrylic sealer over cured Mod Podge. But here's the cure time. 4 weeks. Okay, alrighty then. Back in half an hour for the second coat. All right, it's been 35 minutes, and I'll be honest with you, this does not feel tacky at all, and it does seal it, gives it a bit of a shine. So let's put a second coat on there. Let's do that. I might be a convert. Okay. Okay, leave it alone, girlfriend. We'll come back to it when it's dry. Okay, that's 2 coats on there. And that does give it seals it up, and it does give it a nice little shine. It's not as shiny as, say, Liquitex High Gloss or the Triple Thick, but it's lovely. You know, I really do like that. So I'm a convert. Excellent. On to the next. Okay, my friends, so I finished my rock just so that I could varnish it. And this is the one I already had varnished the bottom, but I will be varnishing it again because I had to do some touch-ups on the bottom. And then, of course, I want to get these sides here without getting any droopiness or ridges down the sides there, okay? So, shake gently, apply with a flat brush, and allow to dry to the touch before adding additional coats. So I'm just going to pour some on top here. And it's allow it to dry to the touch. I know the other day when I did the bottom, it dried very, very quickly. So there we go. Okay, I do believe we can put another coat on this one. Okay, again, I'm just going to pour this on top. This will be the last coat for the bottom and sides. Okay, DuraClear, dry away. Okay. It's all dry, so we're ready to go ahead and start varnishing the top now. I'm using a foam brush here to apply the varnish. First coat done.
last coat of the DuraClear on here. So the first coat, I did have some issues where I didn't get it covered well. We're gonna fix that. And I may just pour some in here. I may end up pouring it on the piece as well. Okay, that looks better to me. I don't like what it's sitting on, so I have to find something smaller. There we go. Okay, I think that's going to be gorgeous, just gorgeous. Again, you're trying to look at it from all angles in the light, because that will tell you if you're missing a spot. And then I'm always checking to see if there's any drooping or sludging down below, because that will just end up being a big drip. Okay, that's 2 coats of the DuraClear gloss varnish on the front. That is gorgeous. Look at that shine, will you? I'm going to put another coat on the back, but this is absolutely beautiful. Love that. Yay to DuraClear.
Okay, my friends, you've seen all of the varnishes. Your choice as to which one you're going to use. I'll be using the Liquitex high gloss varnish.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. It is time to varnish our very first mandala. So get all the dust and fluff off of there. I am just sitting mine up on something that's smaller than it, and I've got a little box underneath it as well. So I'm using the Liquitex high gloss varnish, and I'm just going to place some in this lid of a sour cream container to get this done. And I'm going to start with the sides. Lay it down. And you don't want to overwork it. You want, as soon as you get it covered, then you're going to leave it alone. And looking pretty good. Now this stuff is great because most of if there are any little bubbles, you can try blowing them out, but they also really dissipate quite nicely. So I never worry too much about them. How easy is that? So that's round 1. And the beauty of the varnish too is if there's something that goes a little wrong, you've got a couple of other coats to remedy that. Okay, there we go. See you at round 2. Okay, my friends, so this is how it looks after 1 coat of varnish. So now we're going to go in with our second coat, and I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. And do the edges first. Okay, and then we're gonna put it back down on there. I'm feeling very like I'm gonna drop it. And now we're gonna get this last or second coat. I usually put 3 coats. You don't have to, but I like that nice kind of glossy depth that you get with 3 coats. And I always kind of go over the sides again, just in case you had any drips over the side. I'm going to just pour a little bit more on top. There we go. I don't like going too skimpy with it because you will get streaks that you don't need to have by just putting a little bit extra on. There we go. Okay, that's the second coat of varnish. Okay, there is what it looks like with 2 coats of varnish on it. And I'm just going to add one more. The third coat isn't always necessary. I just have always done 3 coats, and so I'll probably continue doing that. I gave it a good dust off before I turned the camera on. It's so important with these that you look at it from different angles in the light, so you can make sure that you've got no streakiness, that you've got varnish all the way across. Okay, that was messy, but we got it done. That's the last coat, my friends. Now, for these coats of varnish, if I didn't mention it earlier, I'm sure I did, it's usually about 4 hours in between coats, okay? And that is your first mandala, all finished. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to click on the links for my other varnish videos, so you will be a varnish pro by the time you're done. And we'll see you in the next module. Take care, and please remember, keep on dotting. You won't regret it.
Our next module is all about brush strokes. See you then.